Welcome to the DeChambros podcast. This is season 1, episode 6, and we have a great episode for you this week. A lot happened on the PGA Tour. There's a lot of news. LIV starting this week, a lot going on with the TGL. Really excited to be able to share this with you. I'm, of course, your host, Shane, and I'm joined here with my brother, Tanner.
I'm back from Mexico, baby. Let's get it.
Beautiful. Let's get this
Action-packed.
started. So let's start with our first segment of the day. This segment is called This Week on the PGA Tour. And this week we had a great week on the PGA Tour. It was the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and it was fantastic.
It was a great week for a few of our golfers, too.
It was, absolutely. So let's start with this week. Rory McIlroy won the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. This was Rory's 27th win on the PGA Tour. It makes me ask the question, Tanner, is this the year of Rory?
I mean, it puts him in a rare category here. I was looking this up earlier, and this being Rory's 27th win on tour, in the last 30 years, there's only been 2 golfers who've had 27 wins. You want to know who those golfers are?
I would love to know.
Tiger and Philly.
That's a beautiful group to be a part of.
It's rare territory, right?
I mean, anytime you can bring Tiger's name into a stat that's side by side with yours, it's an absolutely fantastic stat to have.
Well, I mean, it begs the question, like, does Rory's career so far, level up to that of Tiger's or even Phil's?
You know what? It's a tough question because when I think about Tiger and Phil's careers, dare I say I look at them as a past career. I mean, Tiger himself, not really doing much on tour. He's got the TGL going, so at least he's still active in the game, and I'm very, very thankful that I'm able to watch him, and I'm able to sit down with my niece and my nephew and watch Tiger play with them as well, okay? Yeah. Phil, I mean, the oldest major winner
I was going to
on
say,
tour
you can't
history,
discount that U.S. Open win.
Is him going to live kind of like the death of his career as well? So I kind of look at Tiger and Phil's careers as a finished career. And I look at Rory's career as we still have a whole lot of Rory to see. Really, he's won the Tour Championship or the FedEx Cup 3 times, right?
Yep.
He's won the Race to Dubai more times than I think I have fingers on my hands to count. So he's still playing at the absolute level of almost prime Rory. Like, is this going to be a second prime Rory that we see? The only thing I would say that's holding Rory back from saying, yeah, absolutely, put him on Mount Rushmore with Phil and with Tiger, is the fucking Masters.
Yep. And it's that 4th major for him.
It's the career Grand Slam. And you know what? Tanner, is it too early for me to say this is the year that Rory gets it done?
Yeah, 100%. It's way too early to say that. I mean, within this, I'm going to kind of backtrack a bit. I think within Rory's career, you had Super Rory in the beginning. And it looked like he was going to be better than Tiger, right? Setting a bunch of records when he was really young. He had a big lull in the middle of his career there, and he's starting to win again now, right? So, like you said, he is still young. He's not near the end of his career.
Not at all.
I think there's a lot more to come for Rory. I don't think it stacks up just yet with Tiger and with Phil, but, going back to your question about the Masters there, I think it's a little bit too early. I mean, we just saw Scottie Scheffler come out of nowhere with a burnt hand and finish in the top 20 this week on his first start of the year.
T9 to be exact.
Sorry, there we go.
Not just a burnt hand, Tanner, it was an impaled hand. Did you hear that story?
No.
So he was making ravioli.
Okay, love
and
ravioli.
When you make the ravioli, you got to cut the pasta.
Yeah.
He was using a wine glass to push into the pasta, and the wine glass went through his hand.
Oh, so I thought it was a burn, and that hurts even worse.
Very, very impressive. And you bring up a really good point there when you say, when Rory was coming out, all of the comparisons were to Tiger, right? How is Rory stacking up to Tiger in terms of the beginning of his career? It's the same conversations that are going on about Scottie now, right?
Yep.
So It's really a hard topic to discuss because everybody will always be compared to Tiger, and nobody will ever be Tiger.
No.
So do I think that Rory is the next Tiger? No. Do I think that he can share the podium with him? I mean, absolutely, right? Mount Rushmore has 4 heads. A podium has a gold, a silver, and a bronze.
I mean,
I can definitely confidently say by the end of Rory's career, if not now, he's going to be in those 4 heads, if not going up to the 3.
I think near the end you can say that. I just don't think you can bypass, a lot of the older golfers that really paved the way for who we're talking about right now.
100%. And I mean, it's the same
Nicholson,
conversation.
we can go down the list, right?
Yeah, and I mean, how far do you want to go? Do you want to bring in Jack? Do you want to bring in Sam Snead? Do you want to bring in Ben Hogan?
Because I think that's important.
Okay, so
and I think
correction for me, when you're looking at the Mount Rushmore, for sure, there's definitely some more important faces and figureheads in the game of golf that would be there first. My conversation that I'm more curious on is going to be kind of our era of golf. Okay?
He's on the Mount Rushmore of our era.
It's the same conversation you hear all the time with every hockey player ever being compared to Gretzky.
Or Crosby.
You guys never going to be the same. Different equipment, different this, different that, right? So I think that's a conversation we can definitely have on another day in another pod. But for today, I think it's a really good conversation to have on, hey, in our era of golf, in our era, as long as we have been living and we have been able to consume the game of golf, I put Rory right up there for sure.
Yep, when you put it in that way, 100% Rory is on that Mount Rushmore there.
Beautiful. So just want to move on and talk a little bit more about the tournament this week. Some really good names up on the top of the leaderboard there. Really interesting that we had Rory and Shane Lowry both get an ace, and then Rory and Shane Lowry finished first and second. I haven't seen a leaderboard that had Rory and Shane's names side by side at the top since the Zurich Classic, which of course they won last year as a team. Yeah. So really, really fun golf to be able to watch them go battle against each other.
Yeah, I mean, beyond that, I think there's been a lot of other, good stories this week. I mean, Sepp Straka, coming off of a win, leading 2 days worth, just didn't have it on Sunday and finished with an even score on Sunday to drop back to what was that, T7 on the week, right? Which, great score for, my guy Sepp Straka, another all-time name right there.
I know,
but
I hate to say it, but I think that you were onto something. It's funny that you were onto it for a name, but Sepp Straka's had a phenomenal season so far.
I'm telling you, when I see those names, I can pick them out, and I might be a year early each time. Maverick McNeely was trash when we picked him last time.
Yep.
I didn't go Sepp this year because I thought, we already have our name pick in McNeely, and he's doing great for us so far. But yeah, Sepp Straka, solid golf this year, and interesting to see how he's going to keep performing as the year goes on.
For sure. Real quick, some other notable names. Justin Rose, great to see Justin Rose up there playing good golf. My guy Tom Kim, top 10. So, just again, you want to talk about being early, right?
22-year-old superstar.
A little bit of an early pick for me for Tom Kim, but finally showing up. Billy Ho with a top 10 as well, which is great. Scotty Scheffler, our guy Taylor Pendrith, the T9, great showing from the Canadian boy as well. So
loving Pendrith this year. Honestly, probably one of the best picks that we got on our team. But great old Canadian boy playing some solid golf right now. He's 33. I did not know he was 33. He's 33 years old.
No shit.
Yeah.
My man.
That's crazy, right? Like I don't know, it's just because it's a name that you didn't see so often in the past few years. Yeah. Last year and this year, really, he's come on stronger. So I thought he would have been in his mid-20s, late 20s maybe, but 33 years old, good for him.
Hey, 33,
living the
still
dream.
Young for golf.
Living the dream.
All right, let's move on to our next segment of the episode. This is a segment we like to call Keeping Up with Golf.
Keeping Up with Golf. And let me lead this one off if you might, my friend, because
absolutely. What do you
I've
got
got a
for
little
me?
conversation I'd love to have because I know you've got a little bit of a differentiating opinion than I do on the subject.
Let's hear it.
Jason Day's fit, day 4.
Jason Day.
Let me set the scene here for you, okay? He's in contention, not to win necessarily, but to finish in top 20 there, right? Top 10 even. Comes out day 4 in a full sweatsuit. I don't just mean a hoodie. I mean sweatpants and hoodie that matched. Baggy sweatpants and a baggy hoodie that matched.
Jason Day's outfit is definitely the #1 conversation that's been going on about the PGA Tour right now.
Yeah, how casual is too casual? What do you like? What's your opinion on golf attire? Because I'd love to hear this.
Yeah, so let me cook a little bit here. Jason Day's outfit was an absolute disgrace to the game of golf, in my opinion. Okay, this guy came out in a full fucking Rocky fit, not just a sweatsuit, bro, the heather gray sweatsuit. He looked like he was about to Netflix and chill your wife away.
Yup.
Here's my opinion on it, man. It goes straight back to, you know, the hoodies coming into golf and things like that. I mean, these guys at the end of the day are supposed to be professionals. And no matter how you look at it, I'm not trying to say we got to go back to the days where we were wearing suits and ties. But for me, if I showed up to work in gray sweatpants and a gray sweatshirt, I'd be sent the fuck home. And I think that there is absolutely no place for just this debauchery that is this outfit. I get it. It's Melbourne. They want to make a statement. They've already made a statement. Look at Charlie Hall on the LPGA. Her outfits through Melbourne are fantastic. They're classy, they're clean, they're nice. Jason Day's outfit, there's no place on the tour to be in a fucking sweatsuit. There's none. There's none.
I mean, truthfully, the only thing I know much about Charlie Hall is the smoking. You know what I mean? And that's really all that I.
Fantastic. Tries really to quit vaping by starting to smoke cigarettes. That's my.
That's solid.
Not gonna lie, I've definitely slid on her DMs a few times. Still waiting to hear back from you. But other than that,
holding out some hope, huh?
I mean, what's your opinion on Jason Day's outfit, Tan?
I mean, so first off, I feel like a lot of your opinion comes because of tradition. And you feel like the fits that, you know, the collar, the tucked in, the pants, it's a classy thing. And it showcases that this sport is above a certain level, right? They've drawn a line in the sand. And in my opinion, the way you dress doesn't dictate class. I know a bunch of assholes who dress nicely. You know what I mean? I've met a bunch of assholes on the course who looked nicer than me. But I just don't think that really equates to what you think it does in a certain sense. I think part of the reason why golf was, before I got into it, before I really got interested in it, I didn't want to have to buy a whole new outfit to go golfing and spend all this money. I feel like it kind of blocks that casual person from entering the sport. And
yeah, continue. Okay, I'll let you cook.
You know, if you're comfortable, you're going to play comfortable. Go out there and kick it. I mean, Rory wore a sweater on day 2 with a hood on it.
Disgusting.
I think it looked nice. He had nice golf pants on, so it's a little bit different, but I don't know. I just don't think there should be an issue with what you're wearing. And truthfully, I actually pulled up something for you just so we can have a little bit of a further discussion on this.
Beautiful.
Right from the PGA Player's Handbook, okay?
Give it to me.
Page 147, in fact.
You got the fucking page.
Look it up.
All right. Got the fucking page.
Player Handbook, page 147. Players shall present a neat appearance in both clothing and personal grooming. You look nice. Clothing worn by players shall be consistent with currently accepted golf fashion. So, that begs the question, what truly is the currently accepted golf fashion, right?
I mean, you bring up a good point there. I definitely want to be able to have the chance to defend myself on some bullshit you said about me there. I mean, to me, it doesn't have anything to do with golf being above something or a person themselves being classier. It has to do with a profession and being a professional, right? You want to be comfortable and you want to go play golf at your local muni. There is a place for you to go shoot fucking 110 in sweatpants. You go ahead.
I love a good 110 in sweatpants.
That place is not on the PGA Tour. It just isn't, man. If someone came to my house to fucking, I don't know, sell me anything they want and they're wearing sweatpants, get the fuck off my yard.
I think charisma, what you're saying, how you say it means way more than how you look. I mean, I work from home. I wear sweatpants and a golf shirt to meetings because I want to appear classier. So I kind of understand what you're saying.
Right, they don't see your damn fucking sweatpants though. They see your collared shirt and you want to look professional. You're a professional getting paid millions of dollars to appear on TV and to have a specific look about you. That's just the profession. Now, it's very interesting the way that they have it in their rule book,
yeah,
right?
Very great.
Because
very
at
great.
my job, there's a very specific dress code that we have to adhere to, right? I need to wear a collar. It's in my code of, like in my handbook.
Yeah.
It's in my code of conduct.
It's not in the PGA's.
In the wording there, in terms of current golf fashion. This is a whole nother conversation. This doesn't just apply to Jason Day. This applies to the whole golf world in general. And I guess my question to you, because I already know my answer, how casual is too casual to be considered current golf fashion? Fucking sweatpants is too casual to be considered golf fashion to me. Just because it's a golf brand that put their logo on it, to me doesn't make it golf fashion.
I mean, when I saw him, I didn't really notice the sweatpants or any of that until people started commenting about it online.
Oh, come on, you didn't notice the sweatpants. He was on a gray on gray sweatsuit.
I just mean it, I didn't notice it in the sense that it didn't bother me, right? Like I saw him fucking shooting, I'm like, nice shot, Jason Day, right? Like, I hoped he was doing a little bit better than he did on Sunday, right?
Sure.
But truthfully for me, it doesn't bother me to see that. And I think it should be promoted more to be casual and to allow the casual person or someone who might not want to wear collars and all of this to feel more comfortable going to their muni and doing that. And I know you say you can do it, but truthfully, the first 2 years we golfed, I felt like I couldn't. I felt like I wouldn't be allowed on the course if I just wore a t-shirt.
That's probably because you have me to golf beside who wears his pants when it's fucking 30 degrees outside and tucks his goddamn shirt in, because I feel like that's the right thing to do. I mean, at the end of the day, the outfit did what they wanted it to do. Everybody's talking about it. It's causing controversy. I think that at the end of the day, regardless of what you think or what I may think, a line in the sand has to be drawn at some point. And if it's comfort that we're looking at, I wear golf pants on a day-to-day basis. They are the most comfortable, stretchy, moisture-wicking, beautiful fucking pants I've ever worn. There's no excuse for comfort. It's not a wool suit that they're wearing out there. They are wearing athletic clothing that can be more comfortable than sweatpants sometimes. So I think, if anything, to me, it was a fit that was designed to create controversy, which it is. And
I've already ordered a pair of sweatpants, gray on gray, baby.
In a world of golf that has a lot of controversy going in it, I don't think that there is a place for it in it. That's my opinion. You have yours.
I mean, I respect your opinion. I just don't agree with it, big dog.
That's okay. You don't have to. Let's move on to our next segment. This is a segment we like to call Fantasy Feats and Failures. In this segment, we're going to discuss how the DeChambeaus did. So, brother, let me ask you, how'd our team do?
Let's get into it. I mean, coming into Sunday, I talked to you. I felt like we had a chance to have 3 or 4 golfers in the top 10. We had a few floating around there, and I think we had 3 in the top 10 going into Sunday. Finished the day with only 2 in the top 10. Of course, Shane Lowry's our highlight there.
Man, Shane.
But we'll get into that in a second here. We finished 98th place in the rankings this week. Honestly, I thought we would do better, even with just the 2 in the top 10 there.
You know what? It's a tough group that we're in this pool. And at the end of the day, Rory's name was in Group 1. And if anybody picked Rory in that group, they had a better shot at this than we did.
So you mean Xander wasn't playing this week?
Oh my goodness. Xander, where are you?
Where the fuck is Xander?
Christ. Talking about where are you, Wyndham Clark, where the fuck is your golf game?
Okay, let's get into this.
What is going on here?
Let's get into this because I feel like this was my pick. I got to defend it a bit. I'm not happy with it either.
You can try and defend it, brother.
I mean, I wrote down 3 letters. Ugh. The fuck, man? Like, okay, major winner on tour. He won last year on tour. 3 wins in his career. 4th overall money winner last year. In my head, I'm like, this guy is on the verge. He's been on the verge for 3 years now of having a breakout season, right? I mean, the season's long, I get it, but where are you, Wyndham Clark? We need you.
The season is long, and I mean, I can't put all of the blame on you because this is a 2-man team, and I did agree. But just for shits and giggles, I did do a little bit of research, and I wrote this down.
This is gonna hurt me.
You know exactly what's coming. My front runner was, of course, Hideki Matsuyama in that group. And I was very curious after 2 weeks in a row where we were really relying on Wyndham to come through for us and him not coming
at the
through.
bottom of the leaderboard each
Bro,
time.
almost DFL, dude. Like he was 2 spots away from finishing dead fucking last, and there's 2 people that withdrew. Like, ridiculous. But let's start with Wyndham.
Yeah.
Our guy, Wyndham. Gotta call him our guy because he's our guy. He's on our team.
Gotta pump him up.
Our guy, Wyndham, is currently 55th on the money list on tour year to date. He's made us a whopping $325,375.
More than I make a year.
Great year if you're me and you that gotta, buckle on our fucking shoes and go do our 9 to 5 every single day. But when I compare him to Hideki,
Hideki's got a win on the Century, which is an elevated event. It's unfair. He's got $3+ million from that win alone.
But listen. We're not talking about fair. We're talking about a fantasy team in a pool where winning money is the only thing that fucking matters. And Hideki is first on the money list on tour this year with a year-to-date earnings of over $3.8 million. We've lost out on $3.5 million. Yeah. This is not fully your fault. I'll take maybe a percentage of the blame for being an idiot and letting you talk me into it. But all this to say, Wyndham, we fucking need you. Please, baby. Please find your golf game. I don't care where you have to find it. I don't care if you have to take a couple of weeks off, go practice, go back to the TGL, do something. Just find your golf game and do it as fast as possible because, like you said, we were 98th this week. Where are we sitting year to date?
Year to date, we are 139th. So we moved up a little bit.
We're moving up, but we're still in that middle of the pack.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I didn't join this pool to be in the middle of the fucking pack.
No. We want money, baby. We want money.
We definitely need our guys to show up.
I mean, talking about guys who haven't shown up really this year, let's have a conversation about Captain Keegs.
Captain Keegan.
I mean, he had a brutal tournament, and then on Sunday, I'm looking at the leaderboard, I'm watching golf, but they're not really highlighting Keegs because he's pretty far down there.
Yep.
He's rocking a -6 going into hole 15. I'm like, oh my, here we go, Keegs. Like, get us some more money, move up that list, help us out here. I check him at the end, -3. I'm like, what happened? I look at it on the 15th hole, double bogey. On the 16th hole, bogey. He hasn't been fully there yet this year. He's had a few good, decent weeks, nothing in like a top contender type conversation. He's got to find it too, man. He's got to find it too. He was on a high point there.
I 100% agree, and I was really high on Keegan coming in this season. I was really high through the first couple of weeks. He was definitely showing up, and honestly, this one might be my fault. I might have put a little bit of a curse on him by picking him in bets and trying to pump him up. And since I've bet Keegan, he hasn't shown up.
No.
So that's fucking on me. I'm sorry, Keegan. But you're absolutely correct. He came out the gate hot this season. I still really feel good about the pick. Again, it's a long season. There's a lot of golf to do.
Yep.
He's shown a lot of brightness and spark in his game, but he has shown still he just can't seem to figure it out on Sunday. So I don't know if you need a little bit more sleep, you need a better meal. I don't know what we got to do here.
I think it's the pressure of being Captain America this year.
You think so?
I really think so, man. Like, what else could it be? He was on a high ending the year last year. And I mean, I still think he's got it, right? I just think there's a little bit of pressure, and he's got to play outside of that and just remember that he's there to have fun and play golf. And 100 million people around the world wish they were in his spot right now.
I absolutely, well said. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Let's move on to our 2 highlights here,
We
because we got some
like
highlights. Shane Lowry with a clutch
fucking Lowry
birdie on 18 to get solo second place for us.
That's a huge putt in terms of money for Shane and in terms of
Money for
us, man.
Right?
Like
it's big one.
I almost wish that, and I hear this on No Laying Up every single week, and I think it's a great idea. I think the PGA Tour is missing out on a huge opportunity to be able to show the fans how much that putt meant, right?
Yeah.
Like, I haven't looked into the money myself, so I can't drop any numbers, but I'm sure that was a $300,000-$400,000 putt.
Oh gosh, yeah. Like there was quite a few. You know, I think it was first, second, T7, T9.
Who do we have? Yeah, we got 2 T3s, so that would have been 3
2 T3s. Thank you.
So you would have had 3 people tied for second, splitting that pot. That would have been a huge cut. So great on you, Shane.
Big putt.
Beautiful week for Shane and Rory.
Our Canadian boy, Taylor Pendrith. He is Mr. Consistent for us this year. He's my favorite pick on our team right now.
He has been.
You know, finished with a T9 this week, just consistently getting top 20s for us the entire year. He is so consistent. I'm so happy. And I know he's going to get a win this year for us on tour. I feel it. I don't know when it's going to be, but I got to tell you one thing. I won't be picking him in any of my 20s, 10s, or 5s because I'm not putting the Shane jinx on him.
Yeah, like I don't think that any of us are going to pick the tournament where he does win, but I couldn't agree more, brother. I could not agree more. I think that this has been a fantastic year for Taylor. It's been a fantastic year for us as Canadians to be able to root him on, you know, for the country.
Not even just
and
Taylor
for our team.
Pendrith. I'm telling you, I said it the other week. It's, you know, this is the year of Canadian golf. This is the best
good
year.
Corey fucking Connors.
Corey
man.
Connors,
My
yeah.
God.
Oh, my, like there's yeah.
It's been a really good year. Taylor, keep it up, brother. We're rooting for you.
Love it.
Okay, let's move on to our next segment. This is a segment that we like to call This Week on Tour.
Yeah.
In this segment, of course, we're going to go into what tournament's coming up next. And coming up is the Waste Management Phoenix Open.
One of my favorite tournaments of the year, one of the fans' favorite tournaments of the year, and one of the most rowdy tournaments that you'll ever see on a golf course. You know,
100%. It has been deemed officially the People's Open.
Yes, it has.
Which leads, I guess, a good conversation there because, I mean, I know how much you love this tournament.
Love it.
And I'll tell you, this used to be one of my favorite tournaments on year, throughout the year. To me, just going back to, you know, the fashion, how far is too far, last year, the Waste Management was a fucking embarrassment. Seeing guys take their shirts off, go down the hill
Harry
with
Higgs, that's my guy. I wish he was still on tour.
I'm not just talking about Harry Higgs. I'm talking about, you know, if you see that video last year, the big fat guy, they poured beer down. That's beside a green, bro. Like, there are people playing in this tournament for millions of dollars, and you're just fucking tobogganing down.
It now. They expect this out of the fans there. I mean, I do have some stats that will back your side of this, you know, argument here. But before we do that, just want to put another little Canadian chirp out there. Nick Taylor, defending champ. We love it.
I do have that here in my list as well. Right. Nick Taylor defending this year is going to be great to watch.
Let me get to this, a little bit of a concerning trend here that, you know, backs up what you're talking about, okay? We're going to go 2022, 2023, 2024. I'm going to say 3 different things on all those years, okay?
This kid came prepared.
I came prepared. In 2022, 911 calls, okay? From the tournament. 440.
I was gonna say, can we do an over/under? But 440.
440 911 calls, okay?
Okay.
2023, 558 911 calls.
Okay, I see.
2024, 653 911 calls in a 4-day weekend of police reporting to the Waste Management Open.
I'm seeing a trend here.
Now, arrests. 2022, 0. 0 arrests.
Great year.
Okay. 2023, 18. 2024, over, under 40. What do you think?
Bro, I know where you're going. I'm gonna have to say over.
54.
54
arrests last
man.
year.
They shut down the food and beverage last year because
they
the
did.
guys everyone was too drunk.
Even here, ejections. 2022, 90 people got ejected from the tournament, 90 fans. 2023, 102. 2024, 211 ejections.
So, I mean, again,
I get it.
It backs my point.
The stats are there. I just
How
love
far
it.
is too far? I mean, I 100% agree with you. And the hype of this tournament has been something that I have traditionally loved. It's different from your regular stuffy, PGA Tour, golf, country club. Like, I love that it brings the intensity in the fans. I just think that we've gone way too far with it. And I hope that, the fine folks at the PGA Tour are able to dial it back this year. Because, I mean, if we're getting that trend and 911 calls are going up by 100 every single year.
Oh, God, yeah.
Right? You got your arrests going up exponentially every single year. Your ejections going up exponentially every single year. Like, we got to stop it, man. We got to stop it somewhere.
So the only thing that really pulls me into why I love this tournament so much, 2 years ago, hole-in-one on 16, beer everywhere. Like, that is a top 5 all-time golf video. And the only thing in my head that beats it is that classic, they're going to go nuts when Tiger hits this thing.
100.
Right?
100%. And that's a core memory in terms of golf. I 100%
And I think
agree,
it really is one of the reasons why there was such more fandom in 2022 beyond the COVID making, golf the only thing people could do.
But let me ask you a question, Tanner. Is that a fandom for golf or is it a fandom for degeneracy? Because I don't see those.
Does the PGA care? All they're trying to do is grow the game.
But this
get
isn't
more
growing.
money. This is growing because this is the tournament each year that makes the most money, has the most fans.
Let me ask you a question.
It brings in millions of dollars to Phoenix, Arizona. I think $9-point-something million they made last year.
So let me ask you the question right there.
In 4 days.
Is this growing the game? Or is this growing the sales of the tournament? Those are two completely different things.
Are they?
Yeah, it is. Because
if the game isn't growing, people aren't going to the tournament.
Right, but are people showing up next week? Are people watching next week? If we're growing the game consistently, we're growing the game as a whole. We're not just growing hey, this is a fucking party, come get drunk and throw beer on the fucking green.
I think if players understand this is going to happen, if they only allow it in one tournament, then it should be allowed. It should be the fun tournament that everyone wants to watch. It gives more people a reason to watch it. I know I'll be watching it this weekend in between the Super Bowl, which of course is why this isn't an elevated event this year.
Sure.
But, I mean, I love this tournament, and that is the reason why I love it, because it feels like a frat tournament.
And that's, again, we're going straight back to the fucking sweatsuit conversation again. This is why you like it.
That's why I like it,
This is why I'm starting to resent it. And I agree with you. I love the energy it brings. I love the explosion in the video. The problem is that the fans are starting to throw beer for fucking putts that aren't going in for hole-in-ones anymore. Like, it's getting too much. It needs to get dialed back. I'm hoping the number of ejections and the number of arrests and the craziness of last year allows us to kind of tone it back in. I think that the Waste Management does have a place on tour. I think that it's necessary to be able to bring that fan engagement and excitement, but we need to draw a line in the sand of how much craziness is too much. And a frat party to me is too much.
Just give me shirtless Harry Higgs and I'm a happy guy. Give me shirtless Harry Higgs. Let's go.
Let's move on to it. So you did mention Nick Taylor, defending champion. Betting favorite, of course, Scotty Scheffler.
He's won it 2 times in the last 3 years. And he ended, 4th place last year, even though he didn't. Yeah, it makes sense why he's favored. I think he's like minus something to win it too, or
plus 280.
Plus 280. Okay, it was minus for a plus 5, or for the
for top five he was minus, but plus 280 I think is still pretty crazy when you look at the betting odds. The next in line is Justin Thomas at plus 1,200 to win. There's a huge gap there, and I mean, Scotty, great showing with a T9, but is a top 10 the week before enough to give a plus 280 to win a tournament? That's, I know it's not enough for me to put money on him. Do I think Scotty's gonna win? Abso-fucking-lutely. It's hard for me to say that I don't expect Scotty to win every single time he tees the fucking ball up.
Yeah.
But plus 280 just is not enticing enough for me to put any amount of money on it.
Yep. No, I mean, that's fair. That's I had the same thing. I looked at it and I was like, God, I would love to put it on at plus 450. And I mean, talking about Rory's win this week, when I was looking at it on Saturday, Rory was in third place, a few strokes back, plus 450 to win. I was like, I should toss $20. He's doing pretty good. Didn't do it. Big regret of mine.
Yeah.
And I think this might be the same type of situation. After day one, Scotty's going to be in second or third place, maybe even leading, and I'm going to hate myself for not putting $20 down on the plus 280 because those are decent odds.
Believe me, if he's anywhere near the top 10 going into Sunday, I'll put a couple sprinkles.
He's going to be at minus though. He's going to be at minus in that time. So
I don't know if on Sunday. I mean, if he's 5-6 strokes back, he's not going to be in minus. Right?
No, I agree.
If he's 2 strokes back, maybe even 3, he might be at at like a pick 'em at probably a plus or minus 110. But if I see any type of plus number and he's anywhere near that 5-stroke back, I'm definitely putting money on him. If you give me 1 second, for some reason, PGAtour.com wanted to boot me out, but I've just loaded back in. I wanted to talk about, obviously, the DeChambros coming up on this week. We had 7 guys that are in the field, and
is Xander one of those guys?
No, man, Xander's not one of those guys. Load, buddy, load. Come on now. Here we go. So the 7 guys that we have coming up. Rasmus Højgaard, which is really, really interesting. He had a great finish last week. Great showing on his first tournament of the year. So again, this lineup, there's no real kind of big stars in it. But there's a lot of big, or I guess little names that have been doing a lot for us. So Højgaard's in the field. Our guy Maverick McNeely, which, by the way, learned a crazy stat about him.
Talk to me.
Did you know that Maverick McNeely not only has the incredible Top Gun name of Maverick, he has his fucking pilot license, and he flies himself to every single tournament.
I love this guy more and more every week.
Maverick, I will be referring to you as Top Gun moving forward. So Top Gun is in the field. Davis Thompson hasn't really done much for us this year, but let's see what he can do.
He's young.
Corey Connors been sneaky good this year, so good to see him out there. Kurt Kitayama, Eric Cole,
who's
another
been
name.
Very good for us.
Eric Cole is another name that's been, Thursday, Friday, top of the leaderboard. Saturday, Sunday, middle of the pack. So hopefully this week, Eric Cole's going to be able to put it all together for you. And finally, last and certainly least, Wyndham Clark is in the field for us again.
I like what you did there.
So, not the most hopeful for next week, but let's hope to see something out of our stars, and let's hope that we see something out of our guy, Wyndham Clark.
Yeah, man.
I think that puts us perfectly into our next segment. This segment we like to call 20s, 10s, and 5s.
My favorite segment of the week.
You got it. In this segment, of course, we pick our top 20, our top 10, and our top 5 for the week. Let's start with how last week went. You want to start me off there, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, let's let the fans know where we're at first here. Shane, you've got 2 wins so far with your bets. I don't have any, but last week I promised the boys a win. And last week, I got the boys a fucking win. So let's look at this, okay? Let's look at this. Top 20, Colin Morikawa. T17, cash fucking money.
Beautiful.
Okay? Love it. That's my first one on the board. It's now 2-1. I'm catching up slowly, but I'm catching up.
Hey, if we want to go into my top 20, I, of course, had our fearless leader and captain, Keegan Bradley, T65.
Yep.
T65.
Didn't make it.
In a field of 80 where 2 of them withdrew. really not a good showing. Bad pick out of me.
Yep.
Not much more we can say.
You got to stop picking our team, okay? You got to
Yeah,
stop
I'm
picking our
trying.
team. You're putting some hexes out there,
and you know what?
I'm enjoying it.
I do have a little bit of a different strategy going into this week. So
love it. What was your top?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you want me to go with my top 10 last week?
Give me your top 10.
Top 10 last week. We all know this. It was Luddy.
Yep.
It was Luddy. Luddy withdrew after first round 77 due to illness. So it seems to me like, I was hopeful that he had a great start, 2 weeks ago that was finished with an illness.
Yep.
I was hoping he had the week to get over it and he was going to show up, but it seems like he's still battling that. Nothing but hopes and prayers that Ludwig gets over whatever.
We had the same thoughts. The same thoughts, right? I mean, my top 10 this week is the Sweat King himself, Jason Day. And he finished T13.
Top 10 last week?
Last week. Yeah. My bad.
Yeah. I was like, this week, where are we going? My God.
Yeah, I was just so excited with my first win, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
Brains are spinning here.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But Jason Day, T13, just outside of my T10 that I needed. Great strong showing out of him. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. My statistical analysis brain was on point with knowing he'd have a good week. I should have just picked him for the top 20, but had I done that, I probably would have put Morikawa top 10 and would have lost that.
Yeah, so, and you were going to win one and lose the other, so...
I'm happy with the one win.
I lost with the one win. So what are you going to do?
But bringing us to my top 5 last week was Luddy, right? And I was flying home on Thursday, didn't catch any of the round Thursday, and when I looked at the leaderboard on Friday, I saw he withdrew. In my head, I'm like, oh, he withdrew before the tournament. Maybe we get an extra pick this week because my guy didn't start.
Yeah, move some money around.
It didn't work out that way. He withdrew after round 1, and so that's a loss for me. Who was your top 5 last week?
My top 5 was the king himself, Scotty Scheffler. And I mean, a really impressive showing out of Scotty. Finished with a T9.
Just outside.
Not enough to get it done for the top 5, but I mean, great showing on his first week back from a hand injury. Didn't seem to bug him at all. I mean, if you watched him play, you wouldn't know that the week before he had stitches in his hand. So,
yeah.
I mean... there's nothing else to be said. We're going to continue to see Scotty throughout the year at that top 5. His top 5s, his top 10s, his top 20s are all going to be minus bets. This one just didn't pan out for me.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to this week's 20s, 10s, and 5s here.
Let's get to it.
I know I've been chirping you all week for putting hexes on our players. Hate me now or don't hate me at all. But my top 20 this week is Maverick McNeely at plus 180. He finished in the top 10 last year in this tournament. I read this crazy stat. You ready for this?
Yeah.
No one in the last, I think it was 10 years, has won this tournament who hasn't finished at least T7 or better in this tournament in previous years.
No kidding.
Not one person.
It's a great stat for my pick, so I really love where you're going with that.
So, I mean, I put him in my top 20. I didn't want to get him in the 10 there. That's my top 20. Who's yours this week?
Beautiful. My top 20 this year, I mean, when you take a look at how he's been doing not only this year, but how he's done previously in this tournament, and I love this is where your stat went. This player has 2 top 5 finishes and 3 top 10 finishes in his last 5 appearances.
All right, talk to me.
Okay. His struggle, he's struggled a bit historically in this tournament, but this year has been a completely different year for Corey Connors. My top 20 bet this week is for Corey Connors. It's plus 145.
So we're doing the same thing. We're going to be putting some hexes on some of our players, and I hope that's not the truth.
That's it. Let's move forward. Top 10, who do you got?
My guy, Sunjay M, at another plus 185. Another player who's finished in the top 10 here before, and I'm hoping he's going to do it again.
Yeah,
really
you know what? When I
almost picked him top 5, honestly. I was really looking at it.
You know, when I was looking at the odds today, Sunjay definitely jumped out at the page to me, and I knew 100% he was going to jump out
Iron
to the page
striker,
for you.
Boy. Oh.
I'm glad you weren't here last week. I did. If you were able to watch the pod, gave you your
I did.
Gave you your
I
roses.
saw it.
My top 10 this week is none other than the defending champion, Nick fucking Taylor. Big Dick Nick is defending from last year. He finished second here in 2023.
Yep.
In the last 8 appearances at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, he has averaged 26th. Great start to the 2025 season. I love Nick Taylor for a top 10, plus 410.
Solid pick.
Great odds.
Solid pick.
Great pick. I'd love to see something good out of Nick this week.
All right, talk to me about your top 5.
My top 5, when we're talking about horses for courses, and we're talking about stats that you have for me, this player, his average finish is 9th for the tournament in his career.
Ooh.
Last year, he finished 12th in a struggling season. So not a top 7, not the best there for that stat. But again, finishing top 10 on average for this tournament throughout his career.
Yep.
His last 5 appearances at the Waste Management, he has finished top 5 3 times.
I think I know where you're going with this.
I have Justin Thomas plus 220 to be top 5 for the Waste Management. I think that this week is going to be the tournament breakout for Justin Thomas, and that's going to just propel the season of 2025 for JT.
Say fucking less. I have Justin Thomas top
Get
5
the
for the
fuck
same
outta here.
fucking reasons, the same research.
My
As you
man.
started going, I was like, is he? Is he? Oh, he is. Okay, I guess we're gonna fucking win together or lose together, baby. This is Justin Thomas's day. This is his week, and if he's not gonna win this thing, I am almost so confident that I feel stupid for saying this. He's going to win us this bet. I really feel good about this one. I really do.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked a bit about JT in the first pod when we were picking the teams.
Yeah, it made no sense why he was up there, and then, well, where'd he end? Up there.
100%.
Not doing it again, not
and
making the same mistake.
He's definitely proven us wrong, and I'm hoping he can prove us right this week. I mean, Justin Thomas has been playing fantastic this year. A good, healthy JT is good for a healthy PGA Tour.
Can't
Plus
agree with you more.
1,200 to win the tournament, I think, is crazy odds. But again, I might sprinkle on it. Seeing as Scotty Scheffler is, you know what I mean, the betting favorite at plus 280. That plus 1,200 looks real good for Justin Thomas this week.
Sexy. It really does, and couldn't be happier that we both got JT at the top here.
That's the second time we've done that this season.
Yeah,
That's
didn't work first
crazy.
time. Let's see if it works the second.
Let's move on to our next segment. This is a segment we like to call Living the Dream. And on this segment, of course, we're going to talk none other than LIV Golf.
Listen, wasn't a big fan of LIV Golf when it came out. Don't care for the shotgun style starts. Didn't understand who's on what team. Don't really care for every week having team golf. Love the night golf. Thought makes me want to watch it. I love it.
Absolutely.
Have you seen any of the videos?
I did get to watch some of them.
See that ball? Oh, it looks so cool.
It's going to look great. I'm very interested to see how the players take it. It's a whole different take on golf. The night golf, I think, is a phenomenal idea. Putting it side by side, the Waste Management, I'm very interested to see how the strategy goes. Again, LIV Golf's first year on Fox Sports, so they're going to be broadcasted live on an actual reputable fucking TV channel, which is kind of neat. I'm curious if the strategy is to try and get the hype of the Waste Management and people, you know, commercial surfing back and forth between LIV and between the Waste Management. It's up against the Super Bowl, but again, finishing on Saturday. So I'm really interested to see the numbers that LIV Golf can put on.
Because it's in Dubai, correct? It starts at like 6 a.m. So you're getting an earlier start for LIV, I believe.
I'd have to check the stats on that.
I know it starts at 6 a.m. I saw it today.
Did you?
Yeah,
okay, so I'm interested on it playing under the lights at 6 a.m. I thought
because it's around the world, dude.
Yeah. I just
6 p.m. at night there.
Fuck.
Or later, I don't know. I made that one up. I made that one up.
Hey,
don't hold me to it.
I believed you.
It's around the world though, right?
I believe you. But I do
can't just
know
walk
that's
there.
100% why they're under the lights, which is pretty interesting. Definitely, I'm with you on there. I'll say it. I was the #1 critic of LIV Golf when it was coming out. I definitely tuned into their first season. There was a lot about it that I liked, and there was a lot more that I disliked. They haven't really changed the things that I've disliked, but I'm starting to come around on LIV Golf. They're making some really, really big moves. Very excited to see how this tournament shows under the lights, and really interested to see what kind of numbers LIV Golf comes with in their debut tournament this year. Putting pressure on the PGA Tour, and you know what?
It's good. It's good for the tour. It really is. I mean, unlike most fans, I heard a few years ago that they signed a deal together and this, that, the other, and where are we now? Nowhere further than we were 2 years ago when they made that announcement, or a year ago. Truthfully, I would love to see some sort of LIV-sponsored event on the PGA Tour where there are more team events during the year. I don't want to see it every single week. And I mean, I really only paid attention to a few weeks that first year, and no one was wearing the same colors. It just was so confusing to watch.
Yeah.
I know now they've got a little bit more of a, outfit and uniform and color scheme.
100%.
So, you can kind of track it a little easier. Again, for me, it feels weird. The shotgun starts, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I am interested to see how it works this year, but
it almost feels like when LIV dropped, it was, dare I say, rushed. And I really feel like it was. I mean, they
100%.
wanted to take advantage, and they wanted to disrupt the industry, and they did.
They did.
I mean, with the team names and the format and all of that, like you said, no uniforms. Like, they gave us their vision, and I think, I might have been a little bit blinded with the hate that I didn't see the vision with them. But going in this year, I mean, like some big signings. Like Grayson signed with Legion 13, John Rahm's team. So Grayson's doing all of their uniforms this year. They're going to be matching up. So there's a lot of cool things happening. I really think that there was a lot of players that transitioned from the PGA Tour over to LIV, and they were in contracts with different manufacturers and different clothing brands, and they didn't want to disrupt that, so they kind of let it go for a little bit. We're in year 4 of LIV, and it's starting to take form and to take shape, and I'm not going to lie. I'm liking what I see so far. We'll talk about it, next week, of course,
100%.
after we see how they do this week, but really excited to see LIV's first tournament this week.
go Bryson.
All right.
My guy.
That leads us to our last segment of the day. This is a segment we like to call Tomorrow's Golf League Today. And of course, this is where we're talking none other than Rory and Tiger's league, the TGL.
Yeah.
Big news.
Big news as far as
news.
YouTube golf is concerned. Good signs a partnership/ownership stake in the LA Golf Club.
It's crazy to me. And I mean,
Absolutely crazy.
you called it.
I did, but I mean, I called it on year 3, I think, in that first episode
did,
there.
yep.
I said, year 3. But again, I also said year 3, they'll start having YouTube golfers on teams. That's not what this is.
I was going to say, I don't think that that's where Good is going.
No, I mean, content-wise,
yes.
yes, we'll see a lot more content in that stadium, and a lot of content with the golfers on that team, which I'm all for. I truly think that this is a very smart move by the TGL.
100%.
In the sense that we talk about growing golf, the biggest thing that's growing golf right now is YouTube golf, and they're taking advantage of one of the biggest risers, one of the biggest stars, one of the biggest groups in YouTube golf, and that's good golf.
That's exactly it. And, I touched on it last week in terms of LIV signing Rick Shields and how monumental I thought that was for not just growing the game of golf, but growing the brand of LIV Golf through YouTube golf. And again, and almost now once this announcement comes in, is it that, LIV, did they go after good and did they settle with an older Rick Shields? I don't know. Or did TGL see that, LIV was making moves and they made a fucking move of their own? Either way.
I think it's a little of both in the sense that part of me feels that LIV wanted Rick because Rick is established, professional,
100%.
and he's teaching you golf. Good is a lot of competitions, and it's a little bit different of a strategy and kind of just what their channels are about. And I think Rick Shields aligns with LIV's idea of what they want for their, platform and their fans. And I think it's a great move for them. And I think with the TGL, they truly wanted that younger viewership, the music in the
100%.
background, the camaraderie that you're seeing between the players. I think that the moves for both these organizations match up with what they want to do. And I think it's a great move on both parts.
Couldn't have said it better myself, brother. Absolutely. And I think that this is a huge win for the TGL. I'm excited to see the content that's going to come out. I mean, week 1 of the TGL, they had all of the creators there. They had a whole lot of content dropping.
They did.
I'm excited to see what they can do with it. I don't know how much they can do with it, because at the end of the day, simulator golf is simulator golf, and without the competition and the year-long race and things like that, I don't know how far Good can take the TGL, but I will tell you, I'm excited to find out.
I mean, truthfully, you put a few of their golfers on their channels, they're getting millions of views on their channel, they get 1 million views, and at the end of it, they're like, at the end of it, they're like,
wow, drink some water, brother.
I've been trying. But yeah, at the end of it, they're like, catch us this week on the TGL while we're facing this. And like, how many people, how many young viewers is that going to make go to their mom and dad and say, what channel is TGL on? I think that there is an avenue here.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, last week, I was honored to have Talon, from the Average Golf Addicts out with me. And
sponsored athlete.
And again, Talon himself not being a major consumer of the PGA Tour, but a major consumer of YouTube golf.
Yep.
I'm very curious to find out what he thinks of this as well, and see if it's something that sparks, again, that more casual viewer to, like you said, at the end of the day, grow the game of golf.
I think it's huge, honestly. Big one.
Beautiful. So talking about TGL, man, this week we have a pretty good matchup.
Who we got?
Boston Common is going up against the LAGC, Goods team. So
LAGC.
Great timing to announce the partnership. I'm really interested to see what they do with it. I think so. Heartbreaking overtime loss from the Boston Common. Really actually excited and interested to see that they did give them an overtime loss. So they did get a point in the season, which was pretty cool. Heartbreaking loss for them. But this week, the singles matchups, we got Rory going up against Tommy Fleetwood.
Yep.
I think Rory has a real good chance coming off a win, coming off the hype.
Love me some Fleetwood, though.
Really, really interesting matchup here. Adam Scott, one of the most beautiful swings on tour, going up against Colin Morikawa, one of the most beautiful iron strikers on tour. So
it's a good one.
Really, really interested to see that matchup. And then we have our guy, Captain Keegan Bradley, going through some struggles right now against Justin Rose, who is rising up. So really, really interesting matchup. Of course, Boston Common 0-0-1 and LAGC with 1 win on the season so far. So really excited to be able to watch that tonight and see where we go. Hopefully we get another real close match like we did last week, and we'll get some good hype coming out of the TGL.
Yeah, the days of the blowouts are over, hopefully, right?
Let's hope so.
All right.
Well, I think that wraps it up for this week. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Desham Bros podcast. Join us next week where we go over how our team did, how our picks did, and of course, gonna have a great discussion on LIV and this week on the TGL.
Let's get it, son.
Desham Bros, baby.